This van is ideal for either like a YouTuber or maybe somebody that works for the studios, for example, and spends a fair amount of time on location and wants a crash pad. Then it's perfect for that. If you are looking to get into van life and you're a couple, this is a little on the small side, but you can make it work as long as you're going to be spending a lot of time outside. It's an Econoline van. I'm really proud of the layout, and regardless of whether you're in the market or not for a van, I wanted to put this video online because I think that more people would do well to adopt this. It's really cool to be able to pull into the scenic overlook and pull out the awning, pull out the kitchen, make a nice meal, have a great time with a $1 million view, throw it all back in the van, and continue on your way. It's really great for adventures.
All right, let me show you the kitchen. This is 500-pound drawer slides. It's all custom built. We've got an extra deep sink, so you can actually leave dishes in it. This whole part, which you can't sit on, comes up. Basically clips right there. Got a light, three burner cooktop. We've got silverware, as you saw. This is a cutting board. This is for the water pump. This is, of course, pretty straightforward. Right now I have it rigged to gravity, so you can just put the water up there and that takes no power. That's an advantage. So basically just put the water source. There's a quick connect hose that goes right on here. I'll demonstrate that. And you get great water pressure with no power. If you want to leave the water on the ground, and I typically move the propane off the back to hook to this, so that's all on quick connect. Then you just turn the water pump on and it'll do its thing. This has, of course, storage. It's a cutting board. I've got a bunch of dishes and cutting boards and camp stuff. We use it primarily for music festivals, that kind of thing. When this is all done, basically put this back in. So once this is done, this was very intentionally designed so that the front seat can still lean back, so that my wife, when we're on a road trip, that's about as far as the seat goes anyway. And the other advantage to it is that the cooler then slides right over the top. So this is on a lock so that it doesn't bang around while we're driving. And basically this slides right over the top, right? Get into the cooler. So it's very intentionally designed. Cup holder here. When we're in driving motion, we kind of just attach this with a bungee. We get to make do with a bungee, but it does do the trick. And so for power, everything is wired into a rocker on the inside. We have the hotel functions, basically your living functions, separated from the vehicle. So if you're out in the woods, you're not going to drain the battery. Technically, everything is wired to a jackery. Then that takes the power off of, including for the water pump, for lights, that kind of thing, all to that power breaker, basically a bunch of rocker switches up there. And you can charge it one of three ways. So you can charge it while you're driving. You can take the jackery into the house. We do have shore power back here on the back of the vehicle that plugs into the jackery. Take the jackery into the house. That's useful if you're in cold climates. It's not great for the batteries. And you could get solar. So we have an extension cord for the solar. Oftentimes it's better to not mount solar because you don't want the van in the sun, and yet the solar has to be in the sun. So ideally, you want an extension cord, have the solar panels elsewhere, put the vehicle in the shade.
Fun as the Vandalorian is, it is time for us to sell it. It was originally a radio station. It's been very well taken care of. I had fairly detailed maintenance records. The body was originally wrapped, so the outside was in mint condition. There's really no rust. It was a California vehicle. You can bring it back to California, meaning it'll meet the smog emission requirements if that's where you live. It is a great vehicle. It's just a little small for a couple. So my wife and I, we want a little more space. We're finding ourselves, we were mostly using it as a weekender. If you wanted to use it full time, then I would probably recommend a fridge. We do have a 12-volt fridge. The problem is that takes power. The jackery that we have, which is optional, you can come with it, power the fridge for about 32 hours, 36 hours. If you were going to do it full time, I would actually do both, because the cooler, we have a super efficient, really, it'll last for days. It'll really last for a whole week if you put in block ice, not cube ice. It does have a toilet, and what's cool about that toilet, I researched every possible option. They have the compression style, they have, cassette style, and I looked into everything, and we determined that we pretty much needed it mostly only for emergencies. And so what we did, the toilet that's there has actually never been used even once. And what we have is horse pellets. So you get doggy bag styles, basically like a dog. So there's decomposable bags. And what you do is you just add some sawdust and some horse pellets if you were going to leave it in the vehicle. Then as soon as you're done, you basically just bag it up, take it out, and stick it in another bag. And that way it's ready to go. There should not be any smell whatsoever. What's interesting is that I built it in such a way that the entire toilet can come out. And so if we're camping at a location for, let's say, a week, then we set up an external bathroom, right? So we have a little sink that pops down and you can brush your teeth and kind of get ready for bed and sort of have those rituals. And it makes things a little more convenient. So you could actually put the toilet outside and the outside bathroom and really have some creature comforts that also frees up a little more space inside the vehicle. The bed does pull out and it becomes a queen. It is well insulated because it was a radio station. And I do have a diesel heater that you could use if you wanted to make this a snowboard sort of vehicle. There's no separate air conditioner, but I do have a little tiny mini swamp cooler that's quite effective. That's an advantage to the space being so small, is it doesn't take that much to cool it. So you could look into like the swamp coolers. They do have new portable air conditionings. That is an option. The vehicle air conditioning is fine. It blows cold. It's great. But that's obviously once the vehicle is running. For anybody determined to build one, I hope this serves as inspiration. And if you'd like to skip the build phase and go straight to just owning and the fun phase, and you want to buy the Vandalorian and make it yours, then by all means reach out.